Quite a few Danas under one roof. Another Dana. I've got another one over here. Hemi charger that's going to Australia. And then of course I've got another Dana, which is with my Hemi display. I've got one here on my Challenger, which is a Kawasaki car. And you know what? I've got one more Dana, but I won't say it. It's top secret. You guys ever seen so many Danas? And we're just a local shop. Not bad.
It's a warm summer morning at Nick's shop, and the boss is in early to try and take care of some things. Like Chris's Mad Max Interceptor that came in with a broken axle.
Check it out. This is what it's supposed to look like. These are towing companies that don't know what they're doing. Check it out. They towed the Mad Max car, and they put the hook on the, instead of catching the hook on the lower control arm, they cut the tie rod, and look what they did to it. My customer is complaining that ever since he got that vehicle towed, the steering is not straight anymore. It's not, and it goes to, pulls to the left. And the reason why is because when he had it towed, somebody hooked it on the tie rod, and he bent it. He bent the tie rod. So in other words, we have to replace it. Well, maybe when his axle broke, he lost the lever for the handbrake cable on the driver's side over here. And of course, we don't have the lever to put the handbrake on. So what we're going to do is try to locate one, and so you can put it back on so you can have his handbrake to work again, because it's a manual transmission car. So that will get done. In the meantime, let's look for the part. We're working on Christian's Mad Max Ford car here, and when he had it built last year, he had the twin headlights, high beam and low beam. So you're going to finding a pair of European lights the way they did it in the film, exactly one light per side, and now he decided to change it. So what we did is we had them installed, and we're ready to put the cover on. But before I do that, I want to adjust the headlights first. And this is what he had before. And this is the correct look for Mad Max. And we're not done yet. When it's finished, we're gonna put the bezels back up with the front bumper and put it back like in the movie. I had a client of mine who came in last week with the 1970 GTO, the GOAT, the red car, the convertible. What the client wanted to do was replace the distributor back home. I don't know what he did, but all he did was remove the distributor, then he wanted to put it back in place, and he was trying to turn the crank to find top dead center. But then he told me it was jammed or seized, I don't know. So as we had the car over here, we thought maybe it was a seized engine. So what I did is I removed the 8 spark plugs and tried to turn the engine myself here before I install this, and let me tell you, it doesn't turn. Maybe something came out, spun a bearing, or broke a connector out, I'm not so sure. What really happened is, as he removed the distributor, the oil pump shaft that goes from the distributor right down to the oil pump came out of place. And when it comes out of place, when it shouldn't have, because when you build an engine, it's got 2 notches here, which goes towards the pump. So when you pull the distributor, the shaft does not come out. And in his case, the 2 notches are not there. There's the notches right here, see? They're grinded off. Somebody grinded them off. They should not be grinded off. Somebody did a mistake. Maybe someone built the engine, didn't know any better. Then he thought of it after, he tried to put it in. He goes, oh no, it doesn't go in place. The only way to do it is to bring it back in from the top with the oil pan and the oil pump in place. Just grind off these 2 notches, drop it in from the top. But you never thought of it. Whenever you want to remove the distributor, there's a good chance that it might come out of place. And in this case, this is what happened. It came out of place. And as the shaft came out, it fell down on the side right beside the crankshaft. So when you went to turn the engine to find top dead center, compression stroke, so you can locate is number 1 in the distributor, this pump shaft got jammed in the crank. And that is the reason why the motor didn't want to turn over. And we all thought it was seized, the engine. But now that I went through it, I found what was going on. So we had the oil pump removed, because he also damaged the pump. It's kind of turning in a jammy way. So he damaged the oil pump and the shaft. And for that reason, we took out the oil pump, replace the oil pump, put in a new shaft, put the pan back in place, and of course I put the distributor in place for him, from his top dead center, and of course we put fresh oil for new oil filter, and now we got it running. And as you can see, it's not in the shop right now because the customer picked it up this morning and everything went well. So there's no damage to the engine except for a bent oil pump shaft. Okay, here we go. We finally got the electric brakes to work on this car. All right, let's go check out the coronet. We've got Mike's 68 Coronet here from New York. We installed his Bilstein shock absorbers, all four corners. They're awesome shocks, you know, and I'm sure they're gonna do the job for him. They're very expensive shocks. He paid a fortune for it. I saw the bill. I did the brake job in the front. The back were still good. I had the discs refaced. I replaced both calipers. Somebody converted to a late model disc brake on this car anyways, so I made them work. I've also installed new stabilizer links. The other ones are all crushed to rubber and cracked. I replaced that. Here's his front Bilstein shocks right here. But I've noticed a lot of cotter pins missing on the front end. So I'm going to take another look at the front end to see if it's all good, because he wants to drive this car down to Texas. So my job here is to look at it when I get a chance sometime this week, and we'll take it from there. And from what I know, that of course all the suspension and steering is all original in this car. I'm going to take a good look at it. I'm going to have to give a call to Mike, see what he wants me to do with it. So I noticed that all the places where there's supposed to be cotter pins, there are none whatsoever in place, except for the tie rods. Like in the ball joints there's no cotter pins. Upper ball joint, no cotter pin. I don't know, they're taken out. Maybe somebody changed a few parts, but they look old. Cotter pins have to be there for a safety reason. They're not there, so that tells you somebody did some work on it, didn't know what he was doing. So I have to take a good look and make sure it's safe before he takes it all the way down to Texas. What he's got here? Oh, look at that, check it out. I didn't see that. That's why they blacked it out. They put a sheet metal here and they riveted it, painted it black as a camouflage so you don't see it. But you know what? It doesn't look that bad, at least it's up there. After all, it is a Survivor 68 Dodge Coronet RT 440. 4-speed with a Dana, like the Americans call it, Dana. Up in Canada, we call them Dana. In Australia, New Zealand, or any parts of the country, other parts of the world, I'm not sure. But anyways, we'll call it a Dana because it's all American. Dana 60. And you know, it's a fun car to drive, let me tell you. It's a fun car to drive. I don't know if you viewers seen a 6-pack on a dyno. It was a 446 pack we did for a gentleman named Eve. Here's his engine. We had it built, dyno tested, and then he picked it up right after we finished with it. He took it home and he dropped it into the car. And that's as far as he's gone, because he left the carburetors and the wiring and the vacuum hoses up to me to get it going, because he didn't want to take any chances to make any mistakes. So I started working this morning by installing the carburetors, brackets, linkages, vacuum hoses, and so forth. So I'm just going to finish off with doing a few electrical work. Then I'm going to pick it up, take a look underneath, see if he's done everything right, because this is the first time he did the installation of the engine. So he didn't want to take a chance of starting it. So he's asked me to finish it off, get it running, and then see how it goes. All he had to do was drop it in, put the clutch in. I hope he did a good job on that, and hook up the exhaust. And he put the radiator in, the hoses, and that's it. And the rest was up to us. And of course, he's not just trying to save money, he just wants to make sure everything goes well. So he brought it to me to install the 6-pack like you see here, because he wasn't so sure which carburetor went where. So like I've told him, I've done many 6-packs. I also had the same setup done on the dyno. I've tuned the carburetors with this engine on the dyno also. So it should be a very simple startup. So in the meantime, I'm going to start putting all these little things together, and hopefully I can get it running by this week. 4-speed Dana V-Coat 1970 Dodge Super B. And it's an original car, original color I believe it is, and with the 6-pack. Look at that, it's facing a U-Coat Dodge Challenger 4-barrel, another 440 car. And you know what I spent doing on the weekend? Check this out. I spent a few hours just installing my nameplate Challenger RT on the fenders. And that's as far as it's got. You know, it's simple nameplates, but you know what? They sure look nice on the car. Here they are. So very soon we're going to work on a dashpad when I receive it, and I can't wait to get going on that, so I can start putting all the electricals, glove box, ashtray, cluster, and the whole dash assembly with the speakers. Then I can put it into the car so I can start doing the interior, and of course the front windshield, and sun visors, rear view mirror, and so forth. So in the meantime, let me get the dash pad and we'll take it from there. Anyways, I'm going to start checking all this wiring. I noticed that he doesn't want to use the speedometer cable because it's busted. Anyways, I'm going to start connecting everything on. He's missing a few pieces also. Like this here, see? What's this here? This is unfamiliar. What? HNT, what's that stand for? No, don't know. Anyways, I'll figure it out. I'm going to set up the coil. I got to put his spark plug wires in. I'm not crazy about his fuel filter. I'm going to take that all off. I'm going to make a few changes. So you know what? In the meantime, let's take a look underneath and see what he's done. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, here it is. He's missing the inspection cover. Oh my God, this is really tight. This is wrong. I gotta loosen his clutches. Not adjusted properly. He's missing the wiring on the starter, which is hanging here over here. He's got tie wraps everywhere. Like I said, I'm gonna have to go through the whole car, make sure it's safe. Because I know he was doing some detail work underneath when he had the car in his shop during the winter time. I don't know why he's got some tape here. I'm just gonna take it off. Doesn't need it anymore. I know he had the front end removed because he wanted to paint the engine bay area underneath the car, which he did on his own. He had the torsion bars removed, and now he's put it all together. And I've noticed he doesn't have his cotter pins either. Take a good look. Look at that. And he never told me to check the front end. Look, no cotter pins. He's got a cotter pin here, none here, none there. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to check the front end on this car also. You know, it's a good thing I look at everything, because a lot of people think they know what they're doing, but they make mistakes. Of course, you know, it's not their job. I mean, it's my profession to look at this and knowing what's right and what's wrong. So in this case, I'm gonna do the right thing and fix it for him. And you guys that are new in the field, because don't forget, when the cotter pin is supposed to be somewhere, it's there for a reason. Of course, it's there for a safety reason. So make sure where a cotter pin goes, always replace it and always put one in place. You know, those days when they use cotter pins because they didn't have any Loctite or nylon self-lock nuts. But then again, cotter pin is a very, very good thing. It works, always has worked, and they're safe. So it might be old school, but you know what? It's good stuff. Let's see if he's done the brakes a good job. So you see, he has them in place. Yeah, looks like it. He's got the cotter pins on the ball joints because I know he had the lower ball joints replaced. He's got the stabilizer links upside down. It should be the other way around. So we're gonna have to turn those around. A lot of guys put them this way, but it's supposed to be the other way around. The bolt goes upwards. Anyways, I'll have them removed and I'll fix it right. He needs to put the inspection cover on the clutch. The clutch adjustment is very, very tight. It's gonna burn the clutch. So I'm gonna loosen it up and adjust it right for him. What do we got here? He's missing the speedometer. He needs gear oil. Let's get it running and see what happens. I'll fix it for him. He also asked me to get him a speedometer. So I'll fix that too for him. Today I'm all alone. My staff is off. So I'm stuck alone. So I said, you know what, let me check everything I need, order parts for what I need for some other cars so I can get things rolling so I can deliver as many cars as I can for this weekend. My right-hand guy, Vasily, is not in the shop today. He just got married last Saturday. And he's coming back to work tomorrow because he wants to go on his honeymoon during a SEMA show down in Vegas in the fall time. So in the meantime, we'll come back to work tomorrow so we can get these cars rolling again.
Yes, you heard that right. Vasily only took 1 day off after his wedding day. He's a very hard-working young man.
There's a man getting married at his wedding day.
He will be taking some time for a little honeymoon trip to Vegas later. He and his beautiful bride, Christina, put on an absolutely fantastic, big fat Greek wedding for all their family and closest friends. The couple very graciously allowed our camera to be there as well.
Here's Vasily. Now we call him Mr. Vasily now.
His son is married?
He's married now.
Oh, so when he's married?
Calls me to Yeah, we had a crazy weekend this past weekend. We went to Vasily's wedding. You know, it's a young couple, and there was a lot of people there. We had a lot of action, a lot of heavy music. It was a typical Greek tradition wedding, and it was loud, it was crazy, but we all had a great time. Of course, the in-laws were happy, and they came up with breaking plates. And Vasily, you have a special thanks from a lot of us. You invited us to your wedding, of course to you and Christina, and we all had a great time. Good show. And I wish you guys a happy life together and forever. You know, when people get married, they sell their cars. When I got married, previous 1 week, I bought a car before I got married. And at the same time, when my daughter was getting born, I had to shoot her with the Buick versus Hemi at Naperville.
Oh, I remember.
Okay,
that.
that was the day my daughter was born, and I was at the racetrack. Like I was at the early in the morning, or should I say Friday night at the, I think it was a Friday night, I don't remember. I was at the hospital, my wife gave birth, and the very next day I was there in the hospital, and then late in the afternoon we had a race with the Buick versus Hemi, and I was off to the racetrack. Yes, my wife is a saint. Yeah, she's a saint.
You're a lucky man, Dad.
Yeah. And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.